Here to analyze more, Betsy Brantner Smith is retired sergeant, spokesperson for the National Police Association, and Randy Sutton, former Las Vegas police lieutenant, both in Tucson. Randy, I thought you were on earlier, so I was like, Randy, and you weren't there. Randy, I want to start with you because police are now, and you and I talked about this last week, but they're now asking for Ring camera footage from neighbors for the entire month of January, but also earlier today, the Sheriff's Department asked for very specific times. They asked for January 11th home camera systems between 9 p.m. and midnight. What does that tell you?
Well, it seems that they have narrowed something down that they're looking for. But imagine this. There are thousands of people in that area who are going to be inundating them with exactly what they're asking for. And this is going to be a monumental task. Sifting through that, the personnel that are going to be required for this is immense. But it shows that there is at least progress being made. They didn't make that specific request based on nothing. So I'm anxious to see what it is that they have found that gives them that particular timeline.
Betsy, I know you've dealt with authorities all across Arizona, but also given the proximity to the border, which a lot of us are talking about, the ability to move goods and people across that border, do you believe there is some type of cooperative engagement with Mexican authorities, perhaps with the urging of the administration, given the high-profile nature of this case?
I think there would absolutely have to be, Laura, because we do work well with our partners from Mexico, both on the military side and especially on the law enforcement side. So, we're talking, we're standing right here, less than 80 miles from the southern border, and a lot of the Mexican authorities do assist our border patrol as well as our military. But you also have to remember that we don't always cooperate well. So hopefully the administration can help in that cooperation.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to move someone into a place that's hard to track, go to Mexico. Now, we know that the suspect, Randy, is now between 5'9" and 5'10", medium build. And there's a former FBI profiler who's examined this who believes that when you look at that surveillance video, you see a tattoo on the suspect's right wrist, and that will help authorities rule in and rule out suspects and also assist the public. Randy, identifying characteristics, a lot of people thought there might be some metal in the front teeth of the suspect as well, given the reflection. I'm not sure what's been determined there. But what about that tattoo?
If that is accurate, and of course the FBI will find that out with their analysis, there's nobody better. If there is something that they can actually point at as a tattoo, that could be critical evidence. If that is in fact the case, there are a whole bunch of other leads that will take them. And I do hope that that is the case. And when we do know, that will focus the case in a lot of different directions that I think might really have a major impact on this situation.
Betsy, I want to go back to the backpack now that it looks like the brand and the model of the backpack has been identified. On the screen, we're showing all the big box retailers closest to the Guthrie house. Now, the security cameras are used in all these stores. And almost every cash register this day and age has security camera footage for each transaction. Would it be your best guess that the video, for each store that sells these backpacks would have been pulled by authorities by now?
I would think that what they're doing is starting from the Guthrie house and then, like you said, working their way outward. But again, we don't know if he purchased this backpack here, somebody gave it to him, somebody purchased it in New Mexico or Chicago or wherever. But what law enforcement has to do, and that's what's so tedious about this, is they're going to have to go through all that footage, try and find out, where those backpacks were purchased, by whom, It's a very tedious work, but this is how you solve a crime like this. It's tedious, but it's so very necessary.
Randy, really quickly, given that footage we saw of the, it looks like a delivery person edging up a wall and looking into a window from, not too far from her home, I would imagine that Amazon drivers, other drivers, all of them who work in that area would be in some way looked at, discussed, anyone with records. How likely is that?
Oh, that's very likely. And remember, so early on, there were suppositions that anyone connected with this home would be questioned. And in fact, we saw that DNA was swabbed or buccal swabbed from some of the people that were working there. And delivery drivers, absolutely, they're going to be looking at them. They're going to be trying to examine all those people who were delivery drivers that actually delivered to that house will be under scrutiny. There's going to be once again, thank goodness that they have brought in all the resources that they have, because every one of these factors that we've talked about tonight has to be examined and has to be either ruled in or ruled out.
No, ruled out. Betsy, Randy, this is painstaking work. Thank you for helping us analyze it all.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.